because the hypocrisy is real. The hypocrisy is real. All right. Anyway, on my way back to Georgia for another week of work. Hopefully we can get this job done soon. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to move on to something else. But anyway, so go ahead and get into this, y'all. Please, if you guys come in, hit the like button. I know this live stream mad late, but you know, I got family, you know what I mean? So I do what I can when I can. Anyway, so as the saga of the South African colonialist farmers continues, there is an update in regards to Donald Trump. We know that Donald Trump feels sorry for the European colonialists that are getting their farms taken away by the South African government, because the South African government wants to return that land back to the public, right? And so therefore the farmers of that land, well, they're no longer going to have the farms, and it is what it is. So your boy Donald Trump is trying to hit South Africa with sanctions for taking that land away. Now, hitting South Africa with sanctions is probably something the South African government was anticipating. And you know what? What kind of sanctions could the United States hit out South Africa with for handling their own business, right? Because the South African government is not doing anything bad to these farmers, to these European colonialists. No, they're doing what's right for the land and for the people of South Africa. And I'm talking about the indigenous folks of South Africa. You know what I'm saying? So that is what the South African government is doing. But in a move that completely goes against what Donald Trump is supposed to be standing on, he wants to help these European farmers settle, right, resettle in the United States, right? He wants to basically put these farmers up in the United States, and he's going to use our money to do it. He is going to use tax cattle dollars, extortion cattle dollars, to pay for these settlers, to pay for these farmers to resettle in the United States. Because that's what it's going to be. He's not going to use, he's not going to use money from his private fund. No, he's going to take our money, right? He's going to take money that he's going to divert funds from one set of pork to another set of pork to resettle European colonialists in the United States. You know what I'm saying? And I have a problem with that. Myth Gamer was good. How you doing? My THC Gamer. Okay. All right. But anyway, yeah, Donald Trump wants to use our money, our extortion dollars, to put these people up. And what I find interesting about this, Bloodhound was good. What I find interesting about this, Ashley Calloway was good. What I find interesting about this is that Donald Trump harps about other nations, right? The European Union, NATO, all the NATO nations, all the nations within the UN, not doing their part, not pitching in what they're supposed to pitch in for when it came to Ukraine and shit like that, right? Funding Ukraine. Oh, well, we funded 70% of Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. He harps about other nations not doing their part. Well, why isn't he harping about European nations not doing their part to resettle these farmers that are coming from South Africa? Why isn't he talking about that? Why do we have to take these people on and resettle them on our land? And where are you going to put them? Are you going to give them farmland? Because I don't know if you noticed. I appreciate that, Myth C Gamers. Yes, my THC Gamers. Please hit the like button. Do I listen to Tyler? Yeah, I listen to him a little bit. My wife likes him a lot more than I do. But think about it. Are you going to resettle these farmers, these European farmers, on farmland within the United States? Because I don't know if you forgot, but we have indigenous folks right here in the United States that could use that land. You know, the ones that you give the casinos to, the ones that you put on these reservations, you know, they could use the land right here. I mean, you would think that they have higher claim to it than some Dutch farmer, some Dutch descendant farmer, you know what I'm saying, from that really hails from Europe. Europe has plenty of land, don't they? Can't they go back to Europe since they're so good at farming? Can't they go do that in Europe? Shouldn't Europe be doing their part in this case as well? Why should we take on these people? Don't we have better things to do with our own money than to put up these farmers? Shouldn't we be focusing on, if we want to farm so badly, right? These farmers, they need somewhere to farm. But do they really? Is farming the best thing to do for the environment? Or should we focus on rewilding and allowing people to hunt and gather as they see fit? No, because you need a permission slip to hunt and gather, right? You need a permission slip to go fishing. You need a permission slip to do whatever you want to do, right? The point of the matter is, we don't need these European farmers over here, right? Send their ass back to Europe. You feel so bad for them? Talk to the UK, talk to the European Union, and tell them, look, you guys got a lot of people down here in South Africa that are going to need a place to stay. You should take them in. I don't know why they got to come to the United States. Why are we doing this? No, tell their ass to go back to Europe, right? And I love how so many people, they feel so bad for these farmers. Oh, and there's so much hate for the South African indigenous folks because, you guys don't know how to farm the land? They know how to farm it. You guys don't know how to farm it. Well, here's the problem, right? Before you got there, before the Europeans got to South Africa and other parts of Africa, there was no need to farm. You see, people want to act like farming is such a great thing. When you farm for smaller communities, it could be a great thing, sure, right? You learn how to cultivate the land, how to use it to grow what you want, right, on a small scale. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, right? Instead of having to go out into the woods and gather berries and apples and stuff, okay, you grow your own orchid, you grow your own this and that. Okay, fine, that's fine. You have some cattle and some goats and whatnot that to help with the regenerative farming, right? Because chickens, because they can actually keep the farming going, but it on a small scale is very manageable. And it's not bad for the environment because it's regenerative farming. You're using what's there to grow what's there, right? You're not using pesticides. You're not using all these different things that are very horrible for the environment. You're not clearing all these trees and displacing wildlife. You're not killing all these ground animals and all that shit to grow your food. No, you're using them, right? You're allowing them to do their thing so that you can do your thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you try to scale it, when you try to scale it to the size to feed a large amount of people, millions and millions of people, that's when it becomes a problem. Farming is what's wrong with Africa, right? Clearing all this land, displacing all these animals, driving animals into extinction and to endangerment. The European has gone to Africa and displaced thousands of species of animals, right? Because, well, we have to accommodate all these people that are coming over here, all these Europeans. Let's bring let's bring as many Europeans over here as possible. Well, that's a problem for the land. That's the problem for the indigenous folks that were there before you, is that you are displacing wildlife, you're destroying the environment with your farming, right? This is a problem, right? Oh, well, the poor farmers. Oh, what are you going to do with the farmland? You guys don't know how to farm. Well, guess what? They could learn how to farm if they needed to, or they can restore the wildlands and allow nature to take its course. But see, you know, most people don't understand the problem that farming on a large scale causes, right? Queen Mother Shakila, how you doing? Salute to you. Salute to you. Oh, you in church? That's what's up. I appreciate you. I appreciate you even stopping by to say, to speak to your boy. That Mike says, congrats on getting monetized. Trump did it for you. He probably did. Yeah. Talking about Trump probably did do that. That Mike, you not trolling this time. Yeah, he probably did do that. I wasn't expecting to go get monetized, by the way. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting them to reject me like they did last time. Maybe you should show some respect. No. I respect what's respectable. And trying to use our money to resettle European farmers is not respectable. No, it's not respectable at all. My THC Gamer says, you are blessed. You do not need to be worrying about this. God bless you. I don't need to be worried about what? I am worried about it if they're going to be using my money to resettle these farmers. No, they need to go back to Europe. That's what I think. Here's a larger lesson, y'all. Here's a larger lesson. We need less large-scale farming, and we need more rewilding. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's how you restore the environment. That's how you take care of the environment, right? Because, listen, you guys, we're farming plants that we don't even need to be consuming in reality. In reality, we do not need to eat plants, right? We don't need to eat greens. We don't need to eat leaves and shit, and roots and seeds, right? Now, fruit is okay. Fruit is good because the plant wants you to eat the fruit to spread the seed. Okay, so it makes the fruit delicious. It makes it consumable. It makes it easily digestible, right? And there's nothing wrong with eating fruit, right? But with all this farming, we don't need it. Not on such a large scale. And I know you know you got the vegans out there. They're going to completely disagree with me. They want to continue to eat the plants. They want to continue the farming. They want it on a large scale. They want to de-wild, and they want to grow vegan shit, and they want to make shit in the lab for you to eat, right? Bill Gates is pushing that. There's this company that they are trying to chemically, right, in a lab, create foods that are tasty to people so that we can give up eating meat. Well, you guys are creating food in a lab, right? What's next? What's next? So understand that eventually they only want to use farms to create the ingredients for chemical foods. They want to control all that shit. In reality, we should be working on replanting trees. We should be working on trying to cultivate more wildlife, right? We need to be encouraging wildlife to flourish. If you really want to do good for the environment, that's how you do it, right? That's how you do it. See, people think that evolving is industrialization. No, we're devolving with industrialization. Am I skipping the game today? I'm not really in the NFL anymore, man. But my Jalen Hurts is my friend's cousin, so I'm rooting for the Eagles to win. You know what I mean? Actually, my homeboy's wife's cousin, and she's my friend as well. So it's her cousin and her mama's nephew. Tolego Diamani says, "Hi, you're South African. They are not coming to farm. They are running away from South Africa as they think black Africans are oppressing them." That is hilarious, and I was actually going to touch on that. Of course, they would holla in oppression. I'm still clearing out sickness, guys. So pardon me. I'm glad you came here to Tobago and said that because they are trying to convince people that the South African government is oppressing white folks. No, they're just doing what is best for South Africa. They're doing what's best for the South African people, the actual South African people, not the European colonialists that live in South Africa or born. No, what's best for South Africa is not farming. It's not. Queen Sister Cameron, how you doing? You good? Queen Sister Cameron, thank you for coming through, and I'm pretty sure you hit. South Africa doesn't need farming. Not large scale farming, right? Well, no, farming is a problem, as well as industrialization, as well as building buildings and buildings, mega cities and all this other shit. That's not what's good for human beings. Just so you guys know that. And the only reason it's somewhat sustainable now is because of sewage, sewers and things like that, plumbing and all that. Yeah, that makes it more sanitary to exist in. But listen, if the pumps stop working, right? If the grid goes down, understand that those who live in the city, that rely on city services, that rely on public services to survive, right? Think about it. The grid goes down, your pumps stop working, the sewers stop working, your toilets won't flush eventually, right? Because you're not going to get the pumps that are going to bring the water up. And you need the water in the basin, right? You need the water in the tank to go into the basin to flush it. Once all those things stop working, well, guess what? People are going to be leaving the cities because it's going to be nasty. You're going to get sick, right? Think about it. Without the power grid, you're not going to listen. Being a city slicker with the grid down is not going to work out for you. You understand what I'm talking about? They want to cancel Cat Williams for anti-Mexican jokes. They want to cancel everybody for everything. I mean, it is what it is. This is cancel culture. Here comes Minor Mouse's supporters coming to troll. Anyway, but think about that. We don't need farming, y'all. Not on a large scale. If you want to have your land in 2 or 3 acres or 12 acres or however many acres you want, if you want to grow some shit on there, no, there's no problem. No problem with that. But once you try to scale it to the size of, you gotta eat, you gotta make sure all the plant eaters can eat. eat the plants. You know, and you can't have vermin. You can't have wild plant eaters like rabbits and moles and animals like that. Oh, we can't have them doing that. No. We gotta make sure that they can't eat, so that a vegan can eat a leaf, or so that a plant eater can eat a leaf. No. So think about that. Think about how unnecessary large-scale farming is. I mean, because they're in Brazil right now. They're clearing out Amazonian trees to farm, right? Well, guess what they're doing when they're doing that? And didn't a few years ago, didn't they burn down large swaths of the Amazon? And think about it. It's so humid in Brazil, where the Amazon is. How is it that they were able to torch so many trees? Listen, that's not a good thing. Clearing trees, clearing out wildlife to grow plants that you don't even need is a problem, right? And that's what's been going on in South Africa. That's what's been going on in many parts of Africa, with, you know, trophy hunting, with large-scale farming. These are problems. This is why, you know, it's just not. It's not a good thing, y'all. It's not a good thing. Steve Payne says this is the dumbest reason to not progress. What do you mean by that, Stephen Payne? What is the dumbest reason not to progress? Stacy, what's good with you? I ain't seen you in a minute. Thank you for coming through. Anyway. So, listen, y'all. I mean, we don't need to be worried. Trump don't need to be worried about what the South Africans are doing right now. What they need to be worried, what Trump needs to be worried about is what's going on right here in the United States, and focus on that. I appreciate it, Stacey. I wasn't even expecting that. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Here we go with another idiot writing in the chat to get my attention off the road, to tell me to pay attention to the road. What? Y'all make it make sense. Trump is a great white Christian. Why? Y'all trolls are wild, man. Y'all bots or trolls or whatever the hell y'all are. This guy, my nuts, comes to tell me to pay attention to the road. Why would you write in the chat if you want me to pay attention to the road? Wouldn't the best course of action, if you really wanted me to pay attention to the road, wouldn't the best course of action to be not to write in the chat? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But we all know common sense ain't common, right? But think about it, guys. Think about it. Me and my wife were talking yesterday. A simpler life would be if we just lived on our land and hunted and fished every day. We get up early in the morning, go fishing, go hunting. You know what I'm saying? You know, go pick some wild berries, hang out with our kids, run around and just exist in nature, right? Just minding our own fucking business. Would we need a farm? No, we would not need a farm. Why would we grow a farm? Like, what do we need a farm for? Why do I need to grow a carrot? And why do I need to grow goddamn an apple? Why would I need to do that? I wouldn't need to do it. I wouldn't need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we wouldn't. There are so many things that we focus on that are so unnecessary. Why do I need to drive 200 and something miles to Georgia to go to work when I could just go to a river and fish and then go hunt a goddamn deer? And you know, get a pail of water or something. I don't know. Or get a well, you know what I'm saying? And use my expertise as an electrician to install a pump to pump the water we need. Why, you know, why do we, I wouldn't even be thinking about a goddamn farm. Mouse is in South Carolina, good for him, Black Dub. Good for him. Give a fuck about where Mouse is. The fuck? Jay with Open Eyes 4 says, not living in accordance with nature. Exactly. There's nothing natural about a large-scale Monsanto farm. Mr. Duke, I'm not nervous in the least about where Minor Mouse is. I'm not nervous in the least. I could care less, you know, about where Mouse is or be nervous about what the fuck he's doing. I could care less about. Hey, I could care less about that guy. Real shit. Give a fuck where he is. But anyway, think about that, y'all. Farming, you know, all this shit is just not necessary. Imagine a world where everything you needed was where you were, because you staked out a piece of land or some, you know, or an area where you were able to fish, hunt, get the water you need to provide for your family. And of course you would have to worry about dangers of, you know, certain wildlife and other human beings trying to take your shit. Yeah, those things will be our reality, right? This will be very dangerous. But imagine you just minding your own business, living your fucking life, not worrying about paying taxes, not worried about environmental toxins that have been poured into your groundwater. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. Imperialism and colonialism has it has devolved us. We have not evolved as human species. Here we go with the threats. Y'all threatened me when I was in LA. I told y'all where I was at. Y'all didn't come. I'm not worried about you motherfuckers, man. But continue to make threats. It's okay. Continue to try to convince me that Minor Mouse is going to come get me. He can try. He can try. But I can guarantee you, I can warn you right now. You don't want to do that. You can, but you're not going to be yeah, it's not going to turn out well for you. Just to let you know. You would not be able to just drink from natural springs because they're contaminated with industrial runoffs. I know, exactly. That's a problem. The Aryan Brotherhood is in South Carolina, and we support Mouse Boy. Okay, good for y'all. Okay, and what'd that mean? So y'all support a pedophile, right? Is that what you're trying to say? The Aryan Brotherhood? Thank you, Stacy. Yes. Y'all go check out my book, The Seeds of Dark Matter, on Amazon. I appreciate that, Stacy. The Aryan, yep. So just so y'all know, Black Dub says the Aryan Brotherhood supports a pedophile because Minor Mouse is a convicted pedophile who pled guilty. Just so you guys know, for raping a 14-year-old child. So it is what it is. Jay with Open Eyes 4 says it is beyond sad. What we world. You're right. Jay with Open Eyes 4. No one cares. That's why we're in the position we're in, and the elite class thinks that they can survive and that they're immune. They think they're immune because, you know, they got bunkers and they got all these different things. Well, nature always persists. That's all I got to say about it. Jay with Open Eyes 4 says that's actually the theme behind of his story. That's what's up, man. Hopefully you get that put out, man. humanity being punished for messing with the planet by the God who created it. That's what's up. Yeah, I agree. All the headlines in South African newspapers basically say that Trump can keep his offer, politely, of course, sending this from Cape Town. That's what's up. I appreciate that, the intern. Yeah, so clearly, the South African government is not worried about Trump sanctions. And that's a good thing, man. That sends a great message, right? It sends a great message that they cannot and will not be bullied by Donald J. Trump, the imperialist. Okay. Brian Evans says the underground water supplies are not contaminated, and I have a well, and I test. Well, yeah, because you got the groundwater. The groundwater is going to have a great infiltration system naturally. What Jay with Open Eyes 4 is talking about is the surface water. That's what he was referring to. But yes, if you have access to groundwater, it's going to be less contaminated. Like say, like the springs he's talking about, the surface springs. But you have underground rivers and underground aquifers all over the land. If you can access it, then yes, it will be less contaminated for sure. Carrie A. Polingo says South Africa needs to take all the land. I agree. Take it all back. Take it all back. Take it all back and return it to Mother Nature. And return it to Yemaya. If you guys are not familiar with Yemaya, basically is Mother Nature. Raven says this guy is pro Kamala Harris. No, I don't even. First of all, I don't even know who Kamala is. And if you're referring to Kamala, Camel Toe, then you're clearly new to my channel, because I could give a hot fuck less about a Camel Toe Harris. See, I don't care about any politician. I don't care about any former vice president, current vice president, I can give a fuck less about them. Because I understand that they can give a fuck less about me, and they can give a fuck less about you. Mouse has proved that Anyway, the intern says main goal is to create a currency that can compete against the dollar. Keep an eye on BRICS over the next few years. See, the problem I have with BRICS is this, like, all these governments can go kick rocks. All these world governments, all these governmental countries from these different governments. We don't need any dollar. We don't need any currency from anybody, right? It would be better to go back to bartering system, equal trade, right? Trade for goods and services. To actually, you give something to get something of substance, right? So how the world has progressed is that you basically, everybody has to be in everybody's business, right? Everybody has to have what everybody else has. When before all these different cultures of people even knew about each other, they were not worried about that. They existed and subsisted off the land that they existed on. They were not worried about currency, right? See, when if you need currency, you only need currency because of how the world exists today. If we existed as we should, we would not need currency. We would just need to be able to work for what we wanted, right? Building a shelter, that takes work. Fishing, that takes work. Hunting, that takes work. Protecting your children, protecting your wife. keeping your shelter clean, right? To keep out rodents and insects and, to be sanitary, to keep from getting sick. That takes work. Using the local plant life to heal yourself, right? When it was necessary. That takes work. Now, has the human race gained a lot of knowledge over the centuries? Yes. But when you misuse that knowledge and misuse that wisdom, it becomes a problem. You become arrogant. You become you're hubris. You gain a certain amount of hubris that is detrimental and dangerous to the world as a whole. These are problems. Dead Mike says you got 140 in the chat. YouTube wants to see you shine now. Dead Mike, you're a whole fool for that one. The intern says that's the truth. Keep the conversations happening. Glad I stumbled on your channel. I appreciate that, the intern. Because that's what I want. I want to encourage self-sufficiency and freedom. Well, when there's self-sufficiency and freedom, you don't need all the shit. You don't need all this. I wouldn't need to drive to Georgia to work. I wouldn't need to drive 400 miles a week. You know what I'm saying? It's just not necessary. These are things that, yeah, I mean, it's necessary now, right? It's necessary now because I live in a house on my property where I can't even grow out. I can't even have farm animals because of HOA. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wanted to have a couple goats in my backyard, as long as I'm, as long as they're being taken care of and they're not causing sickness, like what's the problem? Oh yeah, my blinker is on. Thank you. Why are there so many sellout on YouTube? London Young. That's an excellent question. Why are there so many sellouts on YouTube? Well, it gets their money. I don't know. The more they chuck and jive and all that shit on YouTube, the more they do that, the more money they're gonna get. The more AdSense, the more, super chats, all that shit. That's just what it is. They change their message, they change up because they see the dollar signs. And they want to live comfortably. This is what it is. Mark tells me to get off my phone and drive. Why are you, if you want me to get off my phone and drive, why are you engaging? Then he sends me a super chat. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the $2. I appreciate it, Daniel. And thank you for being so concerned about my safety. But you should not be super chatting if I'm driving and you want me to pay attention to the road. I'm a threat to the public. Okay. That's what you want to say. I'm hands-free. Both of my hands are on the steering wheel for the most part. I am looking at the road. I'm very aware of what I'm doing. And I actually can see the road ahead of me. So, yes, I might glance at the chat to read a comment or two, but it is what it is. I mean, thank you for your concern. And thank you for concern for public health, public safety. The road is practically empty there, Dead Mike. The Habakkuk was good. The Habakkuk, why do you hate South Africa? Mark Ferbert puts a clown emoji up there. Okay, well, think about this. If I'm the clown, who's really the clown? Who's really wearing big red shoes and a red foam nose for watching me be a clown on YouTube? Who's the bigger clown? Think about that. I want you guys to think about that. Those of you who are coming on here and telling me to pay attention to the road, you guys are leaving chats and super chats for me to pay attention to instead of the road. Now, I'm completely responsible for my own actions. Like, if I wanted to, I could just talk and not look at the chat. But you guys are also responsible for your own actions. And if you were really concerned about me paying attention to the road, you would not write in the chat. Bada boom, bada bing. Why can't I be like Brandon Tatum, one of the good ones? Because I have no interest in being one of the good ones. I have no interest in that. I have no interest in being one of the good ones. Black South Africans hate other Africans, and then you got the colonists. Well, the Hapakai, yes, that some of that is true. They did it. That might be true. But those colonialists that you're referring to sowed that hatred. They helped sow that hatred among different Africans, just like they do everywhere. It's called the divide and conquer. That's how that works. But to hate South Africa, I don't know if that is, it's very logical, but, you can do what you want. I have no problem with you saying it. I don't have no problem with you voicing that on my channel. I believe in free speech. I believe in free speech. That's why guys like Black Dub and, guys like that, that's why they continue to comment on my video, on my live stream, because I believe in free speech. And they can say what they want. They can talk about minor mouse and all that. I encourage that kind of talk if that's what you believe in. If you believe in supporting a minor diddler, if you believe in supporting minor mouse, who is a child rapist, I want that to be known. I want people to see that the Aryan Brotherhood, they protect and serve a child rapist. So that lets us know what they're really about. Bada boom, bada bing. The intern says they're all true. The Abakai has a point, but still are farmers. So it can't be that. Yep, all those people love Trump, Mr. Duke, and they're still statists. They still have a statist mind. They don't believe in freedom, right? They don't understand what it is. So if I were a statist, I would love Trump too. I would support Trump too. I can support some of his actions and still understand what he is. That's the difference. I can exercise discernment. I can recognize when good things are happening. Like when on my next live stream, I'm going to talk about Donald Trump putting forth executive actions to protect the Second Amendment. So I can highlight and I can actually get behind that and encourage that, and then also talk about some of the pitfalls that are going to come along with that. Thank you, Dead Mike, for encouraging people to like and subscribe, even though you're my #1 troll. I appreciate it. Even though I think you're a Mighty Mouse supporter as well. 11 Evan was good. Lisa Grenfield, Leslie says, like I make a difference. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe just helping people, give people a different perspective, right? Giving people a different perspective, giving them a different point of view. Maybe that does make a difference. I don't know. You wouldn't know until you actually know the impact you made, until after the results are shown. 11 Evans says, if you got something out of the live stream, I encourage you to hit the like button. I appreciate that, 11 Evan. And he also says the most improper job of any man, even saints, is blessing other men. Real shit. Not 1 in a million is for it. And least of all, who seek the opportunity. That's some of the realest shit that's ever been written. So the bottom line, to recap before I get off of here, is that we don't need to be using taxpayer dollars to take in any refugee from anywhere, including South Africa. You know what I'm saying? We need to focus on handling shit right here in the United States, fixing the problems we have right here in our own country, using our money on us first. If we're going to be extorting the American people, well, let's use those extortion dollars for the American people. And I know that's why they're auditing the US AID, whatever the fuck. But think about it. They are trying to clown the USAID for funding foreign programs, which is bullshit. And they're talking about taking in South African refugees, which don't benefit us at all. The Journey says you need to stop getting told by Israel what to do. Now, if you're referring to the United States government, I agree. But Israel does not tell me what to do. But I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Unleavened Evan says it's hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way to make decisions than by piecing those directions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. Real shit. Keep dropping that knowledge. Keep dropping them gems. Well, yeah, Unleavened Evan. The USAID audit is proof that taxation is extortion. Well, the existence of taxation is proof that taxation is extortion. The Journey says focus on immigrants while meanwhile funneling billions to Ukraine and Israel. Real shit. Real shit. Henderson Williams says is it better to live here or overseas, sir? Well, I have spent some time overseas, and it just depends on where that place is. You know what I'm saying? But as far as tyrannical countries go, right, where that are ran by tyrants, if you think about what is the best nation where tyranny exists, it would be the United States. So yeah, United States is probably okay. Fucking clown. See, if I wasn't paying attention to the road, I probably would have got rear-ended just now. Anyway, so the best place on earth where tyranny exists is the United States. Why? Because our right to keep and bear arms, well, I mean, as far as countries go, is very, very accessible, right? So our right to keep and bear arms are less infringed upon than any other country in the world. So that's why this is the best country, because of that, and because of the hundreds of millions of firearms owned by regular people in the country, we do enjoy more freedoms than other countries. But trust me, they are trying to take those rights away so that they can take those firearms away so that they can have more control over the people. So these are rights that we have to fight diligently to maintain. Because trust me, when they're able to infringe on our rights to keep and bear arms as much as they want to, when they're able to achieve that, well, you're going to see a whole different country. Let's see. Jed says, obviously not driving to church. No, I'm not driving to church. Where do these rights come from? Nature. Nature. Because if you look at nature, look at the animals, look at the wildlife. No one is telling a lion that they can't hunt. No one is telling a lion, no one is infringing on a lion's right to hunt and kill an antelope. or a wildebeest. No one, their rights come from nature. It's in their nature to hunt animals. But at the same time, that antelope, those wildebeest, those water buffalo, they have horns and hard-ass hooves with which to defend themselves. No one is telling an antelope, a wildebeest, or a buffalo that they can't use those horns to protect themselves from lions and cheetahs and leopards. That's where those rights come from. See, they also have a right to go to the nearest watering hole and drink some water, and go to a rock and lick some salt, right? Or go into, some grass and take a shit, or eat the grass, or eat that. It's just in their nature to do these things. So therefore, it is their right. It's their right. Joshua Pet says Jesus Christ is in charge and he will pray for me. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. My name is Lord, and I master, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. Okay. If that's what you want to do. I encourage you to use that energy elsewhere, but hey, it says a lot for you to think of me like that. I appreciate that. Thank you. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to take me a little break. And in about an hour, I will return to talk about Donald Trump's executive actions to protect the Second Amendment. It's 2024, guy. I think it's a little late for that. But anyway, I'm holler at y'all later. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for the super chat. And yeah. You guys like, share, subscribe. And guess what we about to do? We about to keep marching forward toward freedom, peace, and truth. Much love to you guys.